All right. Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to be following up on the Trump negotiations with China, the meltdown that we've seen in Congress. We've seen Chuck Schumer essentially claim that Trump was going to sell the United States out to China. And then we also have reactions from our favorite House Minority Leader, um, Hakeem Jeffries. We're going to look at that, and we're going to look at other stories that are connected to general Democrat policies, essentially blowing up things. And I would like to know your thoughts as we go along. So first, let's jump into the Trump story. Okay, Trump is here at a dinner, and let's hear what he says. He says, "This is a great honor to. It was a fantastic day. I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome." Now, when we're done with listening and watching everyone either celebrate the Trump win or the Democrats claim that Trump sold them out, I'm going to do what we did yesterday with doing a live fact check. We're going to look at the fact check, and I'm going to share the fact check with you in the chat so you can have it for yourself and also interrogate the fact check and see whether Trump actually sold out the United States to China or whether this was a massive jobs win for the United States. So let's listen to President Trump.
It was a fantastic day. And in particular, I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome. And it really was a magnificent welcome like none other. And for so graciously hosting us on this very historic state visit. We had extremely positive and productive conversations and meetings today with the Chinese delegation earlier. And this evening is another cherished opportunity to discuss among friends some of the things that we discussed today, all good for the United States and for China. And it was a great honor to be with you. Please. It was a fantastic day.
All right, so that was
in particular,
Trump's,
I want to thank President.
That was Trump's take. Now, here is what the Democrats had to say about it. I hope the audio came through okay. Here's what the Democrats claim. Chuck Schumer is melting down, ranting that President Trump will be out negotiated by Xi Jinping at the Beijing summit. This is the same Schumer who spent years pushing weak policies that let China steal American jobs, tech, and influence. Zero credibility. Democrats are terrified Trump is actually delivering results. Well, we're going to fact check that and figure out if what we think happened is actually what happened. So this is Chuck Schumer's take on the trip to Beijing.
American business isn't going to fall for this bunk. And then there are many other things we all worry about that Trump would or could do to weaken American workers, families, and businesses when he gets out negotiated by Xi.
Thanks, Godwin.
That's happened time and time again. Donald Trump, here are some of the things that Donald Trump could do that we all worry about. American workers, American families, American people, American companies worry about.
These guys are actors, okay? Now, the comment here says Schumer knows he's screwed 7 ways from Sunday. Look, they know that they're losing, but all they can do is stand behind a mic and tell a big enough lie so many times that eventually people who don't do their own research would believe them because they've been conditioned to hate Trump so much. So here's Hakeem Jeffries, okay? And the post says Hakeem Jeffries in full copium mode. I don't know if you know what that means, but Trump's in Beijing, locking in massive wins, forcing Xi to back off Iran and bringing home deals for American companies, while this clown cries, bending the knee to the CCP. Bro, the only one embarrassing America is you and your failing Democrat Party. So let's listen to Hakeem Jeffries.
What's your reaction to how America was being represented by Donald Trump in China?
Donald Trump went overseas to China and embarrassed the country. As always, it's unfortunate, but it's extraordinary to me that you had an American president go over to China and bend the knee to the Chinese Communist Party. It's because Donald Trump has put America in a position of weakness, including but not limited to by this reckless war of choice that has actually resulted in Iran being stronger today than they were before the United States of America went in, as a direct result of the strategic mishaps, the stumbling, fumbling, and bumbling of this corrosive, toxic, incompetent Trump administration, of course, including the so-called Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in American history. And so Donald Trump went over to China with a weak hand. And as a result of it, I think America's not going to benefit in any way from the bilateral summit that took place over in China. God help us all when it comes out what Donald Trump gave away to the leader of the Chinese Communist Party because of how weak Donald Trump has been as president of the United States of America.
Well, I'm sure that he's getting the benefits of the acting lessons that he got from Hollywood. So he says, first of all, that Iran is stronger after the war. Iran's navy is decimated. The top leadership decapitated. They are weaker than they've ever been. And they claim that Iran is stronger. Well, we know that that's a ridiculous claim. And then he makes an accusation, which we should take seriously. He claims that Trump was essentially bending the knee to China, and that he was going in with a weak hand, and that he was essentially putting the American people in a bad spot. That's the cliff notes. So I took to Grok, and I essentially did what I showed you yesterday. I hit the Grok icon on the post, and I'm going to show, like, if you weren't here yesterday, I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so when you're on a post or on a report on Grok, hit this icon over here at the top right of the post. Okay, and it says explain this post. Grok opens up a window and essentially gives you a summary of what's going on. And many times, if it's a false claim, it lets you know that it's unverified and so on. Now, what I did was, after I got the summary of the post, I asked Grok, are the details of the negotiations available? I needed to know if the details were available, that we could make a decision. And Grok essentially says, yes, some details from the Trump-Xi summit are available through White House readouts, Chinese state media and reporting. So it's not just the White House readouts. China has also corroborated these details. And it says full comprehensive agreements are still emerging since talks are ongoing or recently concluded. So here are the key announcements. Boeing jets are going to be purchased by China, 200 of them. And we're not talking about lollipops here. We're talking about jets that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, 200 of them. Agriculture and energy, China is committing. Okay, so let me read the highlights, okay, guys, because we just listened to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries claim that Trump was selling out America and so on. So let's walk through this together. China is going to buy 200 Boeing aircraft. Trump highlighted this as exceeding Boeing's expectations because they were expecting 150. This is a major win for U.S. jobs in aerospace. Agriculture and energy. China is committing to increase purchases of U.S. soybeans, oil, LNG, liquefied natural gas. This builds on prior truce commitments. Soybeans details appear incremental rather than entirely new massive orders. Then broader trade. discussions on expanding market access for U.S. businesses in China, increasing Chinese investments in the U.S., and forums or boards for ongoing trade and investment cooperation. No sweeping new trade deal or major tariff resolutions announced yet. Focus remains on stabilizing existing truce. So that's essentially the most important bits. Now, I asked another question based on the facts that have come out about the result of the negotiations. Did the United States lose out on the negotiations? And does this mean, and what does this mean for jobs in America? And the feedback is no, the United States did not lose out on these negotiations based on the announced outcomes. Now, remember, China has announced the same things that the White House has announced. So, based on these announced outcomes, the United States did not lose out. They represent a tactical set of commercial wins for the US, focused on export boosts rather than a comprehensive strategic victory or defeat. The Democrats are not going to own up to the fact that this is a win for America, that this is a win for jobs. They claim to be for the American people, but they appear to hate it when the American people win. When jobs come in through these trade deals, whenever there's a win, they claim that there's some corruption afoot. Okay, that's who the Democrats are. So the Boeing, the Boeing aircraft essentially is going to be bringing in tons of, that's the sales of these aircraft, means that there will be increased demand in aerospace, and manufacturing jobs in there is going to go up, and so on. So I'm going to share this so you guys can just keep playing around with it. Okay, putting it in the chat so you guys can play around with it. So again, another massive L for the Democrat Party, another obvious revelation of how unhinged they are, or how deceptive they are. They lie about everything simply because they don't want to admit that Trump knows what he's doing. All right. So yeah, so thanks for letting me know that the link works. So so gardening, thank you for that. Now we're going to be jumping over to the next story, and those of you on the main channel are going to be transitioned in a bit over to the live stream channel. So just stay tuned and you'll be joining us. We're going to be following up on the story. You know, yesterday we looked at this 16-year-old who gave Jamie Raskin a run for his money. And we're going to just continue because he got an interview on Fox, and we're going to just follow up on that story over there. Now, the Patriot Oasis says, okay, hold on. I need to read the chat. Okay. So, gardening says, these guys are ridiculous. Look, it's hard for me to see what the Democrats continue to do. And someone might say, well, it's politics. Now, let me know what you think in the chat. When these people don't want to admit to anything good that President Trump does, is it just politics, or is it deception, or is it something else? Okay, I'd like to know your thoughts in the chat, because when you refuse to give credit to someone who is doing something good that is beneficial to everyone in the United States, and you want to paint that success as something bad, is that a good thing? So that's one question that I want you guys to answer. All right, so just in, 16-year-old patriot Marco Hunter Lopez, who exposed to Congress his Texas school refused to offer the Bible, explains his faith and takedown of Representative Jamie Raskin. So let's have a listen to this interview.
Moment to describe exactly what it is you were saying when you weren't being interrupted by Congressman Raskin, that the American heritage of what should be acknowledged.
Correct. I was just trying to explain to him that he kept referring it to secular law, and he can refer to it as what he wants it, but I was trying to explain that America was founded on Christian values, on Judeo-Christian values, and our founding documents are listed from the Bible, is what I was trying to get across to him.
And I'm surprised to hear a congressman be so aggressive with a 16-year-old. Now, you were a witness there in Congress, and tell us why you were a witness, by the way. What happened at your school in Wiley, Texas?
So on February 2nd of this year, an organization, Why Islam, was on my campus distributing pamphlets on Sharia law, Qurans, and even putting hijabs on teen girls in my school.
Whoa. And
I reported that, and come to find out, the organization was actually connected to multiple terrorist organizations, as dubbed by the governor of Texas. And so that was very concerning. Congressman Roy reached out and asked if I could testify, and that's how it came about.
Yeah, and I mean, first of all, when I get home, Hunter, you're 16, I'm going to have to give yet another lecture to my sons. Because, man, in an age where we're told that young men and young people in general are staring at their phones and forgetting how to communicate with one another, you're not only public speaking on national television with me right now, but you are taking it direct fire from a Democrat congressman. Why? Why are you so comfortable publicly speaking?
Yes, when I was speaking to him, actually before we took off the flight, because it was less than 24 hours, my mom said, "Promise me you're not going to go viral." And I said, "I can't make any promises." And he challenged me, called me out. He said, "Mr. Hunter Lopez." So I took the fight, and he was obviously scared that I was going to prove him wrong, so all he could do was interrupt me.
Your mom said, "Promise me you won't go viral."
Correct, and I said, "I can't make any promises."
If you guys were here last night, it was irritating, and I really got upset. Gardening also got upset because Jamie Raskin just kept interrupting him because the boy was making a point. Now he's 16. My eldest is going to be turning 16 in a couple of months, and he puts me to shame. Like, this guy puts me to shame. But you know what? I love my kid, and everyone has a different rate of development. He clearly has a political mind, and he's sharp. And I'm really glad to see young kids like him stepping up to the plate and facing down these Democrats. Let's keep listening.
Yeah, well, you failed that. You failed your mother, Hunter.
I did.
Good job.
I'm sorry, Mom.
You're also unique, not just in your ability to speak publicly, but young men are a little bit more like you these days. They're showing that they are not only more conservative, but they are more religious. You see this poll. It's unfortunately gone a little bit the opposite way for women over time, but 18 to 29-year-old men it's gone up almost, what is that, 14 points in 3 years on men more religious. And you see there, women gone down 3 points. What's going on?
I don't know. I think we just got to, people of faith and prayer warriors, need to continue praying, because obviously the men have a strong part in the household as a head household, but the women are the other nurturers, and the women are there to have the household stand strong as well. So we need to continue to pray that women will find.
Yeah, so here's what I think happened to women. This is my thoughts, okay? You can chew me out in the chat, but here's what I think happened. Social media happened because I think as people, we need role models. Yeah, the kid is something else. He's very impressive. And look, kudos to his parents, and kudos to him, because yes, the parents have a role to play to provide the foundation for kids to develop and to be excellent, but the kids also have to have the work ethic to do the work. So kudos to them. He's impressive, very impressive. Now, social media has been responsible for setting back a few things with the development of both men and women. I think social media is responsible for why a lot of women have become more liberal, because here's from my observation, okay, this is not me trying to pass judgment on women. Social media has a way of exposing what other people are doing, and women tend to desire the approval, or they like to measure themselves against what other women are doing. And so with the advent of social media, a lot of this essentially went viral, and women just had more options. And most of the options online were people who were leaning more to the left. and they continue to move these sentiments of women over the years, and women essentially turned liberal. That's what I think. So let me know in the chat if it makes sense, or if you have a different theory for why women have progressively gotten more and more liberal. Now, Representative Brandon Gill, he's one of my favorites, just unleashed fury on the Democrat Fairfax, Virginia prosecutor for protecting an illegal alien child artist. YouTube has been very naughty recently, so I don't want to give them more reasons to be naughty. To his face, he says, "Well, sir, the charge refers to underage." Look, this is who the Democrats prop up, the prosecutor who essentially let go a criminal who went. Let's just listen. It's irritating to even talk about it, and you know what? We can't even talk about these things freely anymore online. I can't say the words that need to describe how crazy this situation is, because YouTube is going to flag my video. You know, it's insane. Hopefully, we grow a following on Rumble, and we can do some of that on Rumble where they don't suppress and flag your video or take down your video. Well, let's listen to this video.
Weigh an illegal alien's immigration status whenever you're making charging.
I'm sorry. Is that showing no volume on the video? But the connection broke, so I'm going to just play it again. Sorry about that.
I want to better understand how you weigh an illegal alien's immigration status whenever you're making charging decisions. Do you know who Ander Jose Cortez Mendez is? Are you familiar with that case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a Guatemalan illegal alien who was arrested in March of 2024. He was initially charged with, quote, carnal knowledge of a 13, 14-year-old. Just for those of us who aren't lawyers,
disgusting.
can you describe just very briefly what does carnal knowledge of a 13, 14-year-old mean in this context?
Well, sir, generally, a charge like that would typically refer to
That is
underage sex.
disgusting.
Okay, so he raped an underage versus an illegal alien who raped an underage American. Your office reduced those charges to a misdemeanor charge of consensual sex with a child 15 years and older. You offered him a 90-day suspended jail sentence. Is that correct?
What?
Sir, based on the evidence that we had in the case,
So it is correct.
Oh, jeez. Okay, guys, let me know what you think of what we just heard. Okay. Because if I tell you what I think of what I just heard, I'll need to ask the Lord to forgive me. I'm telling you, it is a wonder that we don't have the families of the children and women who have been murdered and assaulted by illegal immigrants go after these prosecutors and judges. And I mean it. I mean it. Like, it's a wonder. I am picking my word. I'm choosing my words carefully, guys. I'm choosing my words carefully. It's crazy. Let's look at the comment section. Let's see. Okay. This is a post. Okay. Let's see. So Steve Descano, Soros-backed Fairfax DA hands sweetheart deals to illegal assaulters of minors while endangering kids. DOJ probe exposes his betrayal. Will he be sent to prison? Gardening says, I watched this today. He had me so upset. Will he be sent to prison? If the answer is no, we're wasting our breath. if the and look, okay, so I have a prediction, and this is not me encouraging this to happen. I'm saying this because this is what happens in third world countries. When law and order degrades to a point where people um, do not have any more confidence in the rule of law, they begin to take the law into their own hands. And these people, these Democrats, think that when that happens, they will be safe. That's what they think. They think that the police and this private security that they have will be intact when everything goes to hell. What they don't realize is that when that happens, it's not going to be good for them. It's not going to be good for them. Now, another story coming from Homeland Security. All right, no family should have to bury their child like this. Stephanie's, I think this is the lady who got murdered by the illegal alien. I think this is the lady. No family should have to bury their child like this. Stephanie's life mattered. Her voice mattered. Her future mattered. Her life was taken in a way that should have never happened. All right. So let's listen to this.
Stephanie was my daughter, my heart. She was a loving mother, a daughter.
Okay, so
sister,
not the person that was referred
auntie,
to, but this is a different case.
A mentor. She believed in God. She cared for people. She showed up for others, even when she was tired. Stephanie was my memory, since mine isn't that great anymore. She always knew the right Bible verse for any situation, always smiling, always joyful, always loved life, even through the bad times. Stephanie was a woman who faced many battles in life. She always came out the other side of tough times with that bright smile on her face. That same smile is something I will never be able to see again. A smile the world will never bear witness to again. On February 4th, 2026, I woke up to the worst call a parent can ever receive. My daughter was gone, taken in the most horrific way, while simply waiting for a bus in Fairfax County on the night of February 23rd, 2026. No mother should have to stand here and say these words. No family should have to bury their child like this. Stephanie's life mattered. Her voice mattered. Her future mattered. And today I stand here because her life was taken in a way that should have never happened. The man who took my daughter's life should not have been free to walk the streets. He had been picked up many times. He was known. There were warnings. There were emails sent saying he was a danger. And still, he was released. I am not here for politics. I am here for accountability. I am here because a system failed my daughter. If not for these failures, I could be sharing a cup of coffee with Stephanie this morning rather than speaking with you all today. When policies protect people who are a known threat, innocent lives are put at risk. When warnings are ignored, families like mine pay the price. This is not just about Stephanie. This is about every mother, every parent, every child, every person who waits at a bus stop, walks home, or goes to work, trusting they will be safe. We cannot ignore this. We cannot look away. Compassion should never come at the cost of public safety.
Yeah. So that's a heartbreaking account from a mother. Okay, so let's know your thoughts in the chat. It's crazy. So we're going to do a pivot. Okay, we're going to do a pivot because we all know that Democrat policies are extremely dangerous. And one other Democrat policy that, I'll be honest with you, I stayed away from talking about this for years. I mean, on my podcast, on my live streams, because one of the reasons why is because as a as a as a Christian who serves in leadership at his church, occasionally we have people who are affected by these policies come to our church. And many times when you talk about things like sexuality, uh, the trans issue, and so on, you tend to need to do it in a careful way, because the person sitting in the audience might be someone who needs to feel like you're not condemning them, but you're talking about the fact that the practice is destructive to them. And for many of these people, they've become so conjoined with the identity that whenever you talk about how destructive the practice is, they personalize it and believe that you're talking about them as a person. And that's how they've been programmed to see it. So when you talk about the trans issue and all of the other issues that are adjacent to it, the gay and lesbian lifestyles and so on, you have people essentially take offense once you begin to tell them how destructive those lifestyles are, not just to them, but to those around them. And here's a story that shows how destructive it is to those around them. A trans schizophrenic Utah murdered their parents because their mom interfered with genital surgery. Now we're going to play the video. Mia Bailey, born as Colin Troy Bailey, his biological name, shot both of his parents in the head. So Mia Collins said that he was scheduled to have his gender reassignment surgery, but claims that his mother put a stop to it. In the coldest statement ever, Mia Collins said, Mia's mother, can't say sorry to save her life, apparently. I had one thing going on, and Mia's mother, took it away from me. She was a target because she betrayed me. This is crazy. Mia Collins pled guilty to 2 counts of aggravated murder and aggravated assault and was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Okay, so let's have a listen to this video.
You want to know the specifics, but yeah.
Is that hormone replacement
therapy? Yeah.
So being 28 years old now, at what age did you know that you wanted to transition?
I mean, since I was born, but the earliest I can remember is 2.
Did your parents know prior to that?
My parents knew, my mom knew for 3 years, since 2019.
Okay.
So according to him, he knew he wanted to transition since he was born, which is impossible, because the gender reassignment surgeries were only made popular just a few years ago. So I don't know if I'm wrong, but let me know in the chat, because he doesn't seem like he's a day over 17 at the most, which means he is still a minor. I think he is, unless he's over 18 and his parents were meant to pay for that surgery and they said they wouldn't pay for it and he went berserk.
Was that a big topic of contention between you and her?
It wasn't a huge topic, but she was more like, how could I put it, not very supportive. She was in shock, just didn't say anything. And then she just never started since, and she kept calling me my name and a bunch of other stuff, so.
Mia says she was scheduled to have her long-awaited gender reassignment surgery the following month in July.
So they have a payment plan, and I had insurance. So they paid me about half of it at least, and I was going to do like a payment plan. Oh. My dad was going to help me with a little bit of it, so. Oh.
According to Mia, her surgery was all set to go until her mother put a halt to it.
What led up to it was I got a call from my social worker from the hospital, and apparently kind of broke my hip in a way. They shared the details of the hospital, but the worst sort of resolved my mother to contacting them to say no to the surgery. And,
So your mother contacted the hospital?
Yep. And so I knew I could probably peel it with just if that, but she wouldn't. Let's just say I was very furious, and I asked her, I don't want to hear excuses. I want to hear an explanation, and I'm sorry, and I'll do something about it. Anyway, she can't say sorry to save her life, apparently. And
So again, G.me says, victim making victims, know your enemy. These conversations are really hard to have. I watch creators or content creators who look at incidents like this, and it's black and white. And do you know what? In many ways, it's black and white. But when you look into the situation, she's been on puberty blockers, she's taking hormones. And one of the things about these hormones, especially when you're a guy, okay, you're a biological male, and you're taking estrogen in large doses, the male body isn't designed to consume estrogen. And so it messes with everything. It affects your emotions, your mood. It messes with everything. And so many of these people are simply reacting to medication that they have to take in order to facilitate the transition that they are going through. When you talk about these things, you're seen as the enemy, and platforms begin to look for ways to silence you because what you're saying is dangerous. You're trying to encourage people who need these life-saving treatments. But I don't think that it's fair for us to be quiet when we see something going wrong and we don't speak out about it. Gardening says, I think he's in Utah. Yeah, he's in Utah, and their prisons currently have restrictions on those kinds of surgeries, so no surgery anyway. It's sad, okay, to watch. It's sad to watch. All right. It's sad to watch. I pulled up some, so today we're pivoting to watching a few reaction videos, not reaction videos, but certain kinds of videos that tend to fly under the radar most of the time. So this is Caitlin Bennett. I love her content. I play some of her videos occasionally for the intros. And so she made this post a while back in 2019. And I just wanted to bring it back, and I wanted to play it because some of the things that we've been saying about mainstream media is reflected in these videos, because 2019 is quite a while ago. But here she is saying that CNN and other liberal outlets have been running cover for Antifa for years. This is 2019, guys. So let's just keep that in mind. For a lot of us, we just found out about Antifa with the Summer of Love and then with the ICE riots that they've been having. But things have been going on for years, and according to this video, they've been covering up for them for a long time. So let's watch this video. Let me know your thoughts. I hope we can play this, because I'm sorry, I didn't test it. I just saw the video and I was like, okay, let's see if we can play it during this live stream.
Carlos said we should be throwing milkshakes on conservatives.
That does not incite violence. That does not incite violence.
Really? Okay, I'm going to mute the audio first.
I cannot say that Antifa was designed to kill the people that they don't like. There are certainly aspects of them that are true to a cause. That is a good cause.
Really? This is Antifa.
It says it right in the name, Antifa,
Nice.
anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect. There was some violence. No one condones the violence, but there were different reasons for Antifa and for these neo-Nazis to be there. One, racist fascists. The other group fighting racist fascists.
Really?
someone in the grocery department decided that was a good use of some of their budget, was to donate some ice cream or something to milkshakes to throw at fascists, I think that is within their jurisdiction. If we were approached and requested to donate items to an anti-fascist milkshake party, I think that that's a reasonable request, and we can make such a donation.
All right, so we've been talking about Antifa either privately or on our live streams, and for a long time they've been protected by the mainstream media. The mainstream media has gone all the way from, oh, it's in the name, anti-fascist, to saying that Antifa doesn't exist. We've seen them do that. We've seen them do the bait and switch. The Antifa is not a dangerous group. They are simply anti-fascist while they are on the streets perpetrating crimes, attacking people who aren't violent. But the mainstream media is attributing the name fascist to say, oh, these people over here are fascists, so it's okay when these people who say they're anti-fascist are violent. So they've been running cover for them for a long time. It's protest season, guys. So we're going to be seeing more protests pop off over this summer. And maybe occasionally we're going to have live watch parties of these protests. So I hope you're okay with watching the live watch parties and talking about what's going on in the United States. G.me says identity politics grew tenfold after the Occupy Wall Street movement. Divide and conquer. The major actors of Antifa are feds, same as the J6 protesters. Look, it's like the thing that gets me is everything, in my opinion, okay, I might be naive, but everything in my opinion should be black or white. Okay, it should be clear. That there should be clear distinctions. But when you muddy the waters with untruths and lies and misinformation, and then you turn around and you're trying to accuse the other person of the things that you yourself are doing, it irritates me, it upsets me. It's like, this is wrong, and when you call it out for being wrong, you're being attacked. It is crazy. And I'm glad that we're able to look at these things and have these conversations. But this monster has been growing for a long time. And last year, I finally, I don't know why it took me so long to piece it together, but Antifa is the same as Hitler's brown shirts. Okay, is the militant arm of the Democrat Party. The Democrats haven't disavowed them; they back them up, they protect them. So essentially, they are just the same as the brown shirts of the Nazis. The brown shirts were the ones who went attacking and intimidating the political opponents of the Nazi Party as they rose to power. That's what they did. So the parallels are just stunning. Right, so let's switch over to now. Keep your comments coming. I will definitely pivot and read your comments whenever they come in. Another video by Caitlin. So these are the people we share the world with. Okay, so we need to watch them. Like, we need to know they're out there. My intention for playing these videos is not, oh, look at them, oh, they're so weird. It's like, we need to be aware. When I was moving my family to North America from Africa, I sat with my kids and I said to my kids, I said, when we move there, you're going to start seeing things you don't see here. And here's what you're going to see. And I explained it to them. And while I was explaining what they were going to see, Okay, I said you're going to meet people who believe that they're girls even though they are boys, and their eyes grew big. I said, yeah, you're going to meet people like that. You're going to meet this, you're going to see that, you're going to see that, and their eyes grew big. And I said to them, look, I'm just preparing you because that's what happens over there. And true to form, they came over, and you know what? They were better prepared because they knew what was out there, and they were able to essentially navigate those issues. And I believe that the more they grow up and they watch and they navigate those issues, the better they get. But the point I'm making is this: we need to know what's out there so that you're not shocked. My wife didn't fare as well as they did. Maybe because she was already in North America before I gave the talk. So when she encountered her first, when she had her first encounter, she was quite shocked. Okay, so Democrat Santa crashes out, packs up, and literally leaves the protest after he can't tell me what fascism is. So now remember, the Democrats want us to believe that Antifa is anti-fascism. So they need to let us know what fascism is or what they think fascism is, and she's going to ask them to give an answer. Oops, audio bad, audio bad. Let me stop and reshare. Yep, we're gonna fix this soon. This breaks occasionally. Okay, so let's go for it.
Hi, Santa.
Santa says no kings.
Santa, but what if that's what I wanted for
Santa
Christmas?
says no Nazis.
Why? I don't want that for Christmas.
You prefer fascism?
What is fascism?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what is it?
That's an excellent question. It's pretty much what we're going through now.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, your hat.
I got it for you. It's the lack of freedom.
Okay. But what specifically? Because there's also communism that is a lack of freedom.
Military units into American cities without being invited, blowing up boats that they don't even know who's on.
Okay.
And calling and saying they don't need congressional support. No, that's fascism.
Well, first, let's define a definition.
What about sending our comics, having oligarchs buying networks and then firing free speech comics? No, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Okay.
It's all bullshit.
I get that you feel that way. Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning, though, and let's define our terms. What is fascism?
Enough for me. What Mussolini and Franco and initially the Nazis as well.
Yeah,
so that's what it is.
Who coined the term fascism? Who coined the term?
Oh, it's an old term. I think, gosh, it goes back all the way to pre-World War I, I believe.
So it was Mussolini who coined the term fascism.
No, I don't believe he is.
How did he define it?
I'm going to call it into this, and y'all.
I'm just asking for your definition of fascism.
No, that's enough for me today.
Santa, treat her like your little elf and put her in her place. Come on, Santa.
That's all right.
Oh, Santa.
No, I'm not.
Do you really believe that Trump is a Nazi?
A fascist, for sure.
Okay.
No question about it.
Okay. Again, we can't define what fascism is.
Oh, I have no trouble defining it.
All right, go ahead.
I'm just not going to do it here.
Why not here?
I'm done with this.
Okay. Are you packing up?
Oh, yeah.
Did I just make you leave your post?
Time.
Oh, is it like you're off the clock now?
No, there's a scheduled time.
Yeah. You don't want to work overtime, do you?
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay. Well, right here, since you're packing, could you just tell me what the definition?
I was here till 6:30 last week.
Oh, good. Well, you can stick around this week, too. So what is fascism?
I got to get to work.
You're not at work right now?
Nope.
Oh. I could have sworn that you were...
I haven't figured out how to get a Soros check yet.
No?
I don't think they exist.
Oh, well, they definitely exist. They definitely exist.
Well, then show me where to apply for one.
Could you just tell me
where to apply for one? Seriously. You're going to claim they exist? You're going to try to run that bullshit? Tell
It's
me,
been proven.
tell me where I can apply for one. Tell me. Tell me.
I will if you calm down for a second. How about we exchange information? I'll tell you where to get paid by Soros if you can tell me what the definition of fascism is.
I have a definition. I have a master's science degree. I have no problem defining things.
Just go ahead and do it then.
No. We've done for today. The answer: ultranationalism and an authoritarian. Typically defined as fascism.
Extremely. It's really good.
That's the answer. Then you look educated.
It's
ultranationalism, also usually authoritarian.
Yeah, there you go. There's a definition for you.
Wow, he's tapping into the other praise phone a friend.
Why is it the ones who claim to be so educated are the ones who are so stupid? Okay, let's see. G.me says, by the way, I love Caitlin. People are brainwashed 100%. I am not trying to muddy the water on that. I am saying the violence is mostly feds. BLM protest was delivered pallets of bricks. Look, we need to get to the bottom of all of that. And sometimes I feel like we need to take a breath. I feel like we need to take a breath. And that's why whenever I do these things, I try not to rant. I try not to get upset and blow my top or blow my fuse. I want to watch and see what exactly is happening, because you're right. Sometimes things are being manipulated so that people think that, oh, it's one side or it's the other side. And there's a possibility there. Trump talks about the deep state. Oh, and yesterday I saw in the news that the CIA raided Tulsi Gabbard's offices. Okay, if you guys want us to look at that story, we can look at that story, because I felt like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I don't like, why is the Trump CIA raiding the DNI's office? It makes no sense. And carting away documents that were supposedly declassified last year. Why is that happening? So sometimes you see these things going on and you're like, okay, what exactly is happening? What's going on with the government? Can we trust what the government says? So I get what you're saying about the feds essentially being involved in some of these happenings. G.me says, no King's protest, complete psyop. No real message, just division. Yes, lots of broken people in it, but they didn't start the movement. That's true. And I think people have been like, the programming of the masses has been ongoing for a long time. And finally, things are at a point where the government can literally blast something on mainstream media and everybody just reacts to it and just moves. And that's why whenever I see stuff like we're talking about, I just take a breath and I'm like, okay, before you say anything, before you do a video, before you blow your top, ask a few questions. Okay, what's going on? Why is it happening? And so on. Okay. So let's watch this one. Okay, but thank you for that comment, G.me. Let's see. Paul. Okay, sorry. I was about to call the handle that posted this or reposted it. Independent journalist Caitlin Bennett reported to an anti-ICE protest in St. Augustine, Florida recently, and a federal officer gave her a ticket for not leaving what he admitted was public property. The officer was unable to articulate any law Caitlin broke. Now, this is an interesting case. I saw it a couple of months back, and I want us to see how, like you said, federal agents facilitate some of these things like suppression and essentially trying to take away her freedom of speech, essentially here.
You probably might go to jail.
I'm gonna go to jail.
Possibly.
She's literally asking the police to remove me from public property.
All right, you guys need to move
Why?
over here, First Amendment area.
Yeah, this is a First Amendment area.
You don't have a permit here. They do.
Yeah, so what does the permit
it's
do?
time to leave.
I want my rights to be respected. I'm allowed to be on public property.
Here is our First Amendment area number 5
Yeah.
for small groups and counter protesters.
Yeah.
You're a small group.
No, I'm not.
You're a counter.
I'm media.
Are you here with this group?
I'm here with media.
You need to move.
They're thanking them for writing me a
Let's
ticket.
go. You're being detained for a ticket. Over here. You're on federal, and I'm a federal officer.
Yes, great.
So you're getting a federal ticket.
Okay, great. I can't wait to fight this. The liberals here in St. Augustine, Florida, are cheering because this guy is trying to kick me off of public property.
No, you get to stay here.
No.
On federal public property.
Public.
Where
You notice you said public? You don't get to tell me which public property I can
the
be
National
at.
Park Service.
Yeah. Tell me
We
how this is
designate
private
First
property.
Amendment area. I'm sorry,
This is
you
my
don't know
First
the rules
Amendment.
and regulations. I'm sorry.
Oh man, this is gonna be good.
Do you have anything with your ID on?
No.
Okay, get your mic out of my face.
I'm allowed to do this. This is my first.
You're not allowed to stick your mic in my face. So step back and get it out of my face.
So here's the thing. I am on public property. He just admitted I was on public property. This is not permitted to turn this space into private property. You guys cannot do this. We have been over this in Florida with 3 different police departments. 3. I love
content for you.
More. Did you say more content for me? Thank you.
Disobeying a lawful order is your ticket.
What lawful order was that?
I directed you to go from there
Yeah.
to here.
And you think that was lawful?
And you refused my lawful order.
Yes, that was lawful, huh?
So this is United States District Court violation notice. It's a $500 forfeiture, $30 processing fee.
Very cool.
Total collateral is $530.
What was the lawful order that you
He didn't tell me.
He didn't tell you?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a local journalist here. Actually, why don't you go ask him? You're a journalist. Go ask him. Go ask him. So you asked what lawful order I disobeyed.
And he couldn't tell me. He said.
Yeah. So the updates to the ticket that she got written up for is that it was thrown out recently. I think a couple of days back she posted an update. It was thrown out. So what we're seeing in cases like this, and also in the case with the Stop Nick Shirley Act that California is trying to pass, that essentially threatens independent journalists by telling them that if they cover corruption or investigate anything that they don't like, that they will be slapped with massive fines that might bankrupt them or damage their businesses. It's all about intimidation and suppression. If they can get you scared enough to be quiet, first off, they do something that inconveniences you financially. That's how it starts. They start with massive fines, and then it graduates over to jail time. They put you in jail if you violate the thing that they believe you have violated. Okay, the Constitution is clear, the laws are clear, but right now they want the laws to be whatever they say it is. And then finally, when they can't get you to shut up after taking your money, after taking your freedom, the next thing they do is they take your life. That's the slippery slope. I'm glad that Caitlin is fighting the good fight out there. Sometimes I'm like, I would love to be able to do what she does, but I'm not built that way. She is. So what do you think? This is an old story, an old video that she put out, but the update is that they dropped the ticket, they dropped the charges, she pursued it in court, and they essentially chickened out. So that is the story. He's too emotional to be in authority. I can't wait to see how this plays out in court. Well, it played out. This is absolutely unacceptable in Florida. This so-called federal worker just sided with an anti-ICE mob and fined an independent journalist $530. So that essentially is crazy.
You probably might go to jail.
I'm going to go to jail.
Okay, so that's what he said. Okay, so guys, this has been a good live stream. We've covered Trump's update on China. We looked at Democrats claiming that China was essentially going to be out negotiating Trump. They failed at that. If you're joining newly, I'm going to share once again. If you scroll up in the chat, you would see the link that I shared. You would see the link that I shared. I think I can share it again. So the link is to the fact check that we ran on the claims that Trump was out negotiated by the Chinese. So I did a whole AI fact check right here, and I'm sharing it to everyone. Part of what I want to start doing is doing live fact checks with you guys and sharing the documents with you. So in your spare time, you can kind of see how I did it and also learn how to fact check yourself using AI, especially when you use Grok. So I'm sharing that again. So we did a fact check. And of course, surprise, surprise, the Democrats were lying. They lied. The Trump administration negotiated a great deal for American jobs, and it's all contained in the document. And then we went through all of these stories of happenings all over the place. So guys, thank you for hanging out. I have a comment to read. G.me says she was forged in fire. She already went through a full cancellation. They can't touch you after that. Yeah, and speaking of full cancellations, I'd like you to consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon. We go live every night. It is very hectic. Like some nights I feel like, I feel quite tired because it's a lot to live stream every day as a solo operation. I get help from the mods. Gardening is my mod, and I sincerely appreciate the effort. But if you're watching and you're like, hey, I want to be able to help out, you can send story ideas or topic ideas to the email on the screen. It helps out when we're able to kind of put our heads together and say, okay, hey, this is a great way to contribute to the story and to the conversation. I love it when we engage in the chat and when we have these exchanges in the chat where you share your thoughts and your perspective, and I actually speak back to what you're saying. It's actually the reason why I do the live streams. I have a video that I've been working on, and it's slow going because like I said, I'm working on a new format, and it's slow going because I do everything right now. I do the scripting, the recording, the editing. So I'm at the editing phase, and just like here, I do the planning, and then I also do the live editing, or sorry, the live production. So it's slow going, but the live streams are where we actually exchange ideas and talk. And I hope that we can do this more and do it more efficiently. So gardening posts in the chat, good way to work that. Like, share, follow, subscribe. All right, and I see that we had viewers in watching us on Rumble, because we're multi-streaming. We're streaming on YouTube, on Rumble, on Kick, and on Twitch. I have viewers on Rumble. If you're watching on Rumble, please say hi. If you're watching on YouTube, say hi. If you're watching on Kick, say hi. And it's always good to know that you're out there and that we're reaching you. So thank you for watching. I'm going to keep this at about an hour. We went over 2 hours yesterday, and I'll be honest, I felt like a steamroller had run over me by the time I was done, because there were so many stories. Okay, G.me says I only caught the tail end but enjoyed it. Yeah, but you can always rewind. You can always rewind and go back and watch the early part where I talked about the China trade deal. The link that I shared with the document will be, will be useful when you see how the story essentially developed. But thanks for joining. I hope you're a subscriber to the channel. I hope you hit the bell icon, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one. And God bless you and yours. Good night.